Okay, let's talk about something you've probably seen in a math class that made you go, huh? Fractional exponents. You might also hear them called rational exponents, and yeah, they can look a little scary. But here's the thing. They aren't some bizarre new concept, they're actually just the next logical step from the exponent rules you already know. I mean, seriously, think about it. We all get that 8 squared is just 8 times 8. Simple. But how in the world do you multiply 8 by itself times 2/3 of a time? It just doesn't compute, right? Based on that old definition of repeated multiplication, it makes absolutely no sense. And that's the puzzle we're going to solve. And this quote right here, it totally nails the mindset shift we need. See, we've done this before. Remember when you first heard about negative numbers? You can't physically hand someone -3 cookies, but we extended the rules to make them useful. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're not breaking the rules of exponents, we're just stretching them to cover new ground. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll quickly touch on why the old way of thinking gets weird. Then, we'll decode what those fractions really mean, and this is the big aha moment. After that, we'll prove that your old exponent rules still work, use them to solve some trickier problems, and finally take a quick peek at where all this is heading. All right, section 1. So, like we said, trying to think about this as just multiplying something over and over is a dead end. It just doesn't work. We need a better, more flexible definition for what an exponent is. So, if that's the dead end, where's the open road? Well, this next part is the key. This is our Rosetta Stone that translates the whole thing. Turns out, fractional exponents are just a really elegant, compact way of writing two things you're already familiar with: powers and roots. And here it is, the big one, the main event. For any fractional exponent, the fraction is basically a two-part instruction manual. The bottom number, the denominator, tells you what root to take, and the top number, the numerator, tells you what power to raise it to. That's it. Let me say that again because it's that important. Denominator is the root, numerator is the power. Okay, let's put this into action with our original problem, 8 to the power of 2/3. So the denominator is 3. That means our first step is to take the cube root of 8. The numerator is 2, so that means we're going to square whatever we get. So, what's the cube root of 8? It's 2. And what's 2 squared? It's 4. And just like that scary-looking exponent problem just simplifies down to the number 4. Now, you might be wondering, does the order matter? Like, do I have to do the root first? And the answer is no, you don't. You could totally square the 8 first to get 64, and then take the cube root of 64, and you'd still get 4. But here's a little pro tip for you. It is almost always easier to do the root first. It just keeps the numbers way smaller and so much easier to handle. And now for the best news of the day. You might be thinking, great, another set of math rules I have to memorize. But you don't. All those laws of exponents you already learned from multiplying and dividing, they all still work. Your entire toolkit is still valid. Just look at this. The product rule, quotient rule, power rule, they're all here, and they work exactly the same way. Check out the product rule example. X to the 1/2 times x to the 3/2. You just add the exponents. 1/2 plus 3/2 is 4/2, which is just 2, so it's x squared. Same logic, same rules. So if you see something like this, what do? Well, the bases are the same, right? So you just add the exponents. Honestly, the hardest part isn't the exponent rule itself. It's just remembering how to add fractions from like middle school. All right, we've got the basics down. We know the old rules still work. So let's level up and use what we know to break down some problems that look a little scarier at first glance. Okay, so there are usually two things that trip people up. First, what do you do when the bases are different? And second, what happens when the bases are the same but the fractions in the exponents have different denominators? Let's walk through both. First up, different bases. We've got 10 to the 1/2 times 2 to the 1/2. We can't just add the exponents. The trick here is to look at that bigger number, 10, and think, can I break that down into its factors? And yeah, of course, 10 is just 5 times 2. So now we can distribute that 1/2 exponent to both the 5 and the 2. And look at that. Now we have two terms with a base of 2, so we can combine them. 2 to the 1/2 times 2 to the 1/2 is just 2 to the 1. The final answer? 2 times the square root of 5. All right, challenge number 2. This time, the bases are the same, which is awesome. We have 2 to the 1/2 times 2 to the 1/3. We know we just need to add the exponents. The only snag is that they have different denominators. So this just becomes a basic fraction problem. We find a common denominator, which is 6. So 1/2 becomes 3/6, and 1/3 becomes 2/6. Add them up, you get 5/6, and our answer is just 2 to the power of 5/6. Done. But let's be real for a second. Is this just, weird math for the sake of weird math? Nope, not at all. Let's look at a pretty surprising place where these show up, and then we'll peek over the horizon at what comes next. Believe it or not, these exponents are super important in fields like epidemiology, the study of how diseases spread. An equation like this can model how many people get infected over time. That 3/5 power isn't just a random number. It describes a very specific kind of growth curve that you just can't capture with simple whole numbers. It allows for a much more nuanced and accurate model of the real world. So, we did it. We took this weird-looking thing, a fractional exponent, and saw that it's really just a clever shorthand for roots and powers. But that opens up a brand new, even bigger question. If a fraction in an exponent is a root, what happens when you use a number that can't be written as a fraction? An irrational number, like pi. What on earth could 2 to the power of pi possibly mean? You can't take the pi-th root of something. And that's a whole other can of worms, and a great question to leave you with.